Test, test. Test, 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 test.等一下，我要找东西一下。那在这里。Hello, hello, hello. Now this is for your questions, for your questions, for your questions. If you have any question for tomorrow, gentle disclaimer that later on Liverpool is going to win the English Premier League. Okay, later on Liverpool is going to win the English Premier League. You only need to know how the Japanese treated the different races and how the Japanese treatment of the races and the changes they made. Yes, you only need to know um these things, but you must know the specific terms for each of what happened to each of the race. Okay, then when you do the essay, make sure that you have a main point. Make sure you anchor your essay with a point, right? Then give me the examples, then give me the explanation. Now when you do the explanation, make sure that you have to link 2 to 3 sentences. This must be 2 to 3 sentences that actually link to how the different efforts that the Japanese made actually led to them achieving what they want to achieve. Okay, depending on the question. Look at the question, what is the outcome they want you to find out, and then explain it to the outcome. Okay, so yes, please know all the key terms in your essay. Key terms like what is Sukching, right? What is Sukching? Who are the Kempentai? Who are the Kempentai? And what did they do? What is the Indian National Army for? What is the Indian National Army for? Right? What is prisoner of war? And what did the prisoners of war do? What else? The Malays, right? How did they help the Malays? What else? Yeah. Yeah, that's about it. Oh yes, education. What did they do for education? What did they do for propaganda? What did they do for censorship? Right? What are the messages they want to convey? So all this is part of the chapter. Yes. Yeah, and the media. So what kind of media? What form of media? So this is for your essay. Everything after the Japanese occupation is for your source-based question. So your Hock Lee riots will come under the source-based question, right? Or it may be Maria Hertog riots, it may be Hock Lee bus riots, or it may be post-war Singapore. So they can come out an SBQ just on Maria Hertog, or just on anti-NS riots, or just on the Hock Lee bus riots, or they can do a variation. Okay, I'm not chewing anything. I'm drinking Milo here. So that's for your essay, right? Make sure you know all the terms that are posted in the group chat, the pictures. So your source-based question, they were either the whole source-based all 5 question. Either all 5 question will be on Maria Hertog. That means they will just look specifically at this case study and what is it about. And the main thing about this is religious insensitivity, right? Or they can have the whole 5 questions on Hock Lee, right? And what's the main thing about this is security, right? Lack of security, and then workers rights, right? Or the whole thing can be about the anti-NS, right? And what is this? Racial insensitivity. Or it can be this 3 plus the lack of basic needs. Or it can be just a case study, not just on one of these, but on everything. That means they combine everything and give you a question to think about, like why did people want independence, right? People wanted independence because the British were religiously insensitive to them. People wanted independence because the British were not providing security. People wanted independence because the British didn't provide basic needs. Example. Okay? So that is how your source base will come out. Now, a few things I want to highlight for tomorrow. Again, highlight one more time. Alright? Number 1 is your purpose. Now, for express, there's more than one question that is on purpose. So the key thing, please write because. Please answer the question with your because, right? He made this speech, he made this poster because, right? Because blah 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 blah. So I need this word inside your answer. As many times as possible, write it inside your answer for any time you see the why question, right? Then give me the strong action verb, which is convince or persuade or encourage. Then give me the audience, which is the locals or the whoever it is, right? Example, the locals. Then give me the message. All right, and please be reminded, message same as inference, not lifted, not paraphrase, right? And most definitely not outcome, right? Not an action. It is not what I want the audience to do. It is the why. It is the reason. It is the reason why they should do these actions. Okay, so that is for your purpose. Then at the end, then you write the outcome, which is the the action that they want the audience to take. All right, and if you can write the context as well, which is just what was happening. What was happening that led to the author making this speech? What was happening that led to the author making this poster? Yes? Yes, so this is very important. Very, very, very important. Because if you don't write the word because and there's more than one question, each question 5 marks, you get 0, 10 marks is gone. There's a high chance you may not pass the paper because of this. So don't let it happen to you. Okay? So just to recap again, right? You must know MrFoo, you must know what it's about. You must know Hockley, bus riots, what is it about? You must know anti-NS riots, what is it about? Which is racial insensitivity. Then you must know lack of basic needs. And by basic needs, I'm talking about food and shelter. Alright, food and shelter. Okay? So, you know that this is a riot, right? Anti-NS is a riot. Hockley is a riot. MrFoo is also a riot. So all these riots, you may see propaganda sources, right? It means you may see a lot of hate speech, right? So you must decipher these things. You might see a lot of propaganda, right? Posters trying to instill something, right? And majority of this, what are they unhappy about? It is the British. They are all unhappy about the British because at this point in time, the British were the government. Okay, so why? Why? Please make an inference why. Based on whichever scenario that you see, whether is it MrFoo, religious insensitivity, Hockley, lack of security, anti-NS, racial insensitivity, or lack of basic needs, which is basically not providing for the locals. All right. Okay. So yes, that's it for your source base. One more thing I want to highlight before I open to, I'll just let you ask question is for your evaluation, which is your last question, which is going to be 7 marks, right? 7 marks is a lot of marks, so you have to do it properly. So you must always start. Please remember this. Just recap again. One source, one paragraph. All right. Mix. Do not mix your sources and explain them together. Okay. So you start with one agree, and then one disagree. Okay. So make sure you always start with answering the question. A agrees with the statement that whatever the statement is, then your inference. Then your inference here, and your inference is short and sweet, not lifted. Okay, then evidence, then then give me the evidence. Then when you explain, right, explain with 2 to 3 lines. 2 to 3 lines and make it connect. Make this is very important. To get a paragraph correct, you must know how to explain it properly. What does this evidence actually tell me? What does it imply, right? What does it imply? You can use the word probably. It implies that probably, right? For example, if you see that the house, right? Let me give you an example. House, if you see lack of housing, for instance, right? What does this imply in terms of British rule, right? If the topic is on British rule and then you see lack of housing, right? What does this imply? This probably implies lack of provision, right? Lack of planning, poor planning, right? Or the British don't care about the locals. That's why you will see that there's a lack of housing, right? Example, okay? So this is how you explain. So make sure you explain it properly tomorrow. Or example, if you see the forcing, if you see forcing to go NS, right? Example, what does this imply in terms of the topic? The topic again is the British, correct? So what does this imply? This implies that there's lack of concern, right? Lack of concern for the Chinese. Why? Because you're disrupting their studies, right? Their study, or disrupting their lives, right? Forcing. So what does this imply? The British, what are they doing? Making use of the locals for their benefit. Example, this is what the local people would think, right? So this is how you explain. Give me the evidence, then link the evidence back to the topic, and whether you agree, disagree with the topic by doing all these things, right? Right? So you're being very clear. You're clearly explaining. So again, this is a 7 mark question. In order for me to give you one agree, in order for me to mark one source correct, you have to give me the ATQ, then the reason for your ATQ, and then evidence and a good solid explanation that links back to why this evidence tells me of your inference, right? Then you link back again and say, does A agrees or disagrees with the statement. Okay, right? So every inference you make sure it's not vague. I don't want to see vague inference. I don't want to see anything good, bad, talking about, or lifting. No, all these are invalid inferences that will get you maximum 1 mark, or maybe if you're lucky 2 marks. So make sure you be very clear. Know what's the issue, right? And the issue, going back here again, right, are these things. Do you see religious insensitivity? Do you see lack of security? Do you see workers' rights? Do you see racial insensitivity? Do you see lack of provision, lack of basic needs, right? Do you see all these things? Okay? Yes. So that is that for your source base. Now those who just came, a gentle reminder for your purpose, you must write the word because. You must write the word because. If not, you will get 0. Okay? Alright, gentle reminder. Please write the word because. Gentle reminder, when you do your essay, make sure I have a heading, right? make sure I see the heading very clearly. Do not use your examples as the heading. The examples is not the heading. The heading is in the point, right? The examples are not the point. Give me the anchoring point first, then give me the examples. Then you explain how the examples lead to whatever you want to say. Okay? For example, if I ask you, as in the practice paper I gave you, right? If you say how the Japanese control the people, you tell me Japanese control the people through. If you say the Japanese control the people through Sokching, okay? You won't get the full marks for this because this is not the main heading. This is just an example. The main heading should be either fear or force, right? Because they are it's more than just the Sokching. It's also the spying on the people, right? It's also the prisoners of war camp. So the main thing should be fear and force, not the Sokching. Right, so split it into 2 paragraphs. Give me the main point, give me the evidence examples, then give me the explanation. Alright, give me the explanation. Alright, so let me do something. Let's go to, give me a minute, window capture. Alright, let's go to my browser for a second. So just want to show you some things. Right, let's go to the Twitter page. Let's go to Fantasy Premier League Twitter page, and you will see the lineup is here. Alright, this is the lineup, and it looks quite sad. Why does it look quite sad? Okay, it looks quite sad because my fantasy team does not have all these people. Okay, let's look at the lineup for Arsenal. Good, Arsenal looks like they're gonna win. Now let's look at the lineup for West Ham. Okay, good. Southampton. Okay, Southampton looks good as well. Palace looks good. Alright, Liverpool looks good. Alright, Liverpool on the way to winning the English Premier League today. Today. Mark my words. They're gonna do it today. Okay? Okay, so I think that's it. If you have any questions, I think look through the notes again, look through all the files I sent to you, and look through the videos, the previous videos as well. A lot of tips are over there. Yes, a lot of tips are over there. So tomorrow, alright, first time in the history of Queenstown. First time in the history of Queenstown that your history paper is a paper by itself and you have a whole weekend to study. Alright? Because nobody cares about geography, right? So 100%, please give me 100%. I will be very happy if I can see 100% pass. Alright? I'm not really concerned about whether you get distinction. Just give me the 100% pass. Okay, so any more question? If you don't have questions, then you can just study the notes that I sent to you. If you have questions, then you can start asking the questions now. right? I have finished whatever I wanted to say for revision. Okay, just make sure everything right. Even for okay, one last tip, maybe for all the SBQ questions, all SBQ questions. That means all the source-based questions, right? Make sure you give me a ATQ. Okay, that means what? That means if the question is saying what does the source tell you about British rule, that means this is the subject that they want you to talk about. Alright, so please, when you write your first line, say the source tells me that British rule. Okay, always answer to the question, because this is the main subject they want you to infer about. Okay, so British rule was something, was what? No, okay, some words you can use was harmful, right? Was detrimental, or the opposite would be beneficial. So which one is it, right? And why is it like this? Okay. All right. So gentle reminder again. Make sure you know about this. Make sure you know about what is the background of all these riots and things, right? What is the main thing? So again, Maria Hertog is about religion, a lack of respect for the religion, right? Disregarding the Muslim laws, right? Then Hockley is about lack of help for the workers, did not help the workers, and lack of security in terms of managing the riot. Anti-NS is about racial insensitivity because they force the Chinese people to go and study. I mean, to go for NS, it will disrupt their studies because they don't want them to become communists. Then lack of basic needs is called not providing for the people due to their lack of concern, lack of care and concern. Okay, so if you have no question, you can log off and study now. Alright, if you have a question, you can ask me now. Okay, so maybe I will do, maybe if you are still awake, I might do another stream later on, 5 minutes before the match ends. The matches end, right, to celebrate Liverpool's victory. Okay, although I'm not a Liverpool fan, I'm an Arsenal fan. But in terms of the title race, I think Liverpool has the edge. Okay. Alright, so I think that's it. That's it for this stream. You can watch back whatever I said previously again, or you can watch the previous videos that I've uploaded already. Okay, so all the best. Please give me the 100% pass. Thank you.